Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Tuesday, August 25th, 2015, around 8:34 in the evening. Billerica, Massachusetts. Just saw some lightning and rain right now in some areas, but the drier weather's coming and more comfortable air. Some news to report. Sad news to report in the world of the NHL. Former NHL player Ron Chico Mickey passed away at the age of 76. The Calgary Flames re-signed their captain and defenseman Mark Giordano to a 6-year contract worth $40.75 million. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed Michael Vick, quarterback, to be the backup to Ben Roethlisberger for this season. And that's about it on the news. My third and final video blog of the night is my personality profile. Tonight's personality profile is the founder of the WWF, Vince McMahon Sr. Vince McMahon Sr. was one of the most respected wrestling promoters of all time. He was a wrestling promoter for over 40 years, and he founded the WWF, and he started the world of sports entertainment back in the day. Vincent James McMahon was born in Harlem, New York in 1914, and he came from a promoting family. His father, Jess McMahon, was the head promoter of New York's Madison Square Garden, and Jess promoted boxing and wrestling and concerts and stuff. And at a young age, Vince McMahon loved seeing wrestling and boxing and stuff like that. Vince got married to a woman named Vicky, and they had 2 sons. One of them was Vince, and the other one was Rodney. And after World War II was over, Vince Sr. took over promoting wrestling at the Garden, and he said professional wrestling was going to be very, very big and stuff because of the advancements of television and stuff like that. In the 1950s, Vince McMahon Sr. founded Capital Wrestling Corporation, and they had a television show on the Dumont Network and stuff like that. Eventually, Capital Wrestling Corporation became a member of the NWA. Vince McMahon Sr. got exclusively to the Madison Square Garden in the late 50s, plus Capital Wrestling Corporation promoted throughout the northeast part of the United States. That included Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C., 5 major markets on the East Coast and stuff. And Vince McMahon Sr. became the main booker for such stars as Haystack Calhoun, Bobo Brazil, the Fabulous Moolah, Bruno Sammartino, and Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. And in 1961, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers became the NWA World Champion, and Vince McMahon and his partners, which included 2 modelists, mainly exclusively booked Nature Boy Buddy Rogers in the Capital Wrestling Corporation territory of New York and stuff, and that got a lot of NWA promoters mad. And most of Buddy Rogers' world title matches were 1 fall. Usually NWA world titles are 2 out of 3 falls and stuff like that, and that got Vince McMahon Sr. mad. In 1963, after Nature Boy Buddy Rogers dropped the NWA World title to Lou Thesz in Toronto, Vince McMahon broke away Capital Wrestling Corporation from the NWA, and they formed the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. and they named Nature Boy Buddy Rogers his first champion, but he wasn't champion for long because in May 17th, 1963, at Madison Square Garden, Bruno Sammartino beat Nature Boy Buddy Rogers to become the new WWF World Champion. And Bruno held that belt for 7 years and stuff. And Capital Wrestling Corporation was like the kind of the parent company of WWF, and WWF was the premier wrestling organization in the world in the 60s because they had New York's Madison Square Garden, they had the Boston Garden, Philadelphia Arena, Baltimore Civic Center, the arena in Washington, plus other fringe cities and stuff like that, and potentially there were 100 million people in that area and stuff like that. Plus the WWF had a big syndicated network that they showed the shows throughout the Northeast and stuff, and Vince McMahon Sr. was very respected by his other wrestling promoters, especially like down in other territories, Jim Crockett Sr. and Fritz Von Erich and Bill Watts and others. And usually from time to time, Vince McMahon Sr. would have talent exchanges with many of the fellow wrestling promoters and stuff. They would exchange talent here, there, so they would be fresh and stuff and good. Also, Vince McMahon Sr. allowed his son Vince Jr. to become an announcer in the early 70s. Vince Jr. wanted to become a professional wrestler, but Vince McMahon Sr. said no way and stuff. And Vince McMahon Sr. also became the exclusive booker for Andre the Giant in 1973. And also in the early 1970s, the WWF rejoined the NWA as its member quietly and stuff, and Vince McMahon eventually got on the board of directors for the NWA to determine who would be the NWA World Champion each year and stuff like that. Eventually, Vince McMahon Sr. was so respected that many professional wrestlers loved wrestling for the WWF and stuff, and he would treat them with respect, and he was a man of his words and stuff. Plus, Vince McMahon Sr. developed close relationships with Eddie Graham, Championship Wrestling from Florida, Roy Shire from the West Coast, Mike LaBelle from Los Angeles and stuff. So Vince McMahon Sr. was really, really respected through all his wrestling promoters throughout the world and stuff. And he always would have faced ethnic champions as world champions like Bruno Sammartino and Pedro Morales. And he had a love-hate relationship with Bruno Sammartino, but in the end, Bruno made a lot of money for Vince Sr. and stuff. And also, Vince Sr. Had Bob Backlund as the champion in 1978 and stuff, which, that got a lot of people mad because Bob Backlund was boring. But Vince McMahon Sr. wanted an all-American boy as a world champion and stuff like that. Towards the late 70s, Vince McMahon Sr.'s health was declining a little bit, and his son Vince Jr. really wanted a part of the WWF. 1979, the name was shortened to World Wrestling Federation, or the WWF, or what it's called WWE today and stuff. And Vince McMahon Sr. basically was semi-retired to Florida. He would show up for the garden shows and TV tapings that were held in Pennsylvania and stuff. Eventually, he wanted to really sell the WWF to Gorilla Monsoon and Arnold Skaaland in the early 80s, but Vince McMahon Jr. really wanted to buy Vince Sr. and the WWF because he had plans to turn the WWE from a regional territory in the Northeast to a worldwide leader in sports entertainment. Vince McMahon Sr. was reluctant, but he eventually gave in, and part of the deal was he would keep Gorilla Monsoon, Arnold Skaaland, and a few others on the payroll for the rest of their lives, and Vince McMahon Jr. did and stuff like that. And also Vince McMahon Sr., before like basically passing away, he was on the board of the directors of the NWA, who voted Nature Ric Flair as world champion in 1981. And Vince McMahon Sr. eventually passed away of prostate cancer in 1984. But before he passed away in 1984, one of his final duties was holding out the curtain when Hulk Hogan became the night Hulk Hogan became WWE champion in January 23rd, 1984, and stuff like that. Vince McMahon Sr. did not see to let the WWE evolve into a blade of sports entertainment and stuff like that. And he also tried to warn his fellow promoters that his son was taking over the wrestling world and stuff. And, they didn't really listen because they thought Vince Sr. was joking and stuff. But Vince Sr. probably was really didn't want that to happen, but he knew at the end of the day it was right, because Gorilla Monsoon and Skull would have kept the WWE the way it was and stuff. But wrestling was changing in the 1980s, professional wrestling, with the advantage of cable television. If it wasn't Vince Jr., it would have been somebody else. And Vince McMahon Sr. is in the Madison Square Garden Hall of Fame, in the WWE Hall of Fame. He was a legendary promoter. He probably was the best wrestling promoter in history, because he was a man of his word, and that's what many wrestlers said. That's about it on Vince McMahon Sr. That's about it on these video blogs, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Tomorrow, 3 more good video blogs are coming your way. First video blog will be the review of SummerSlam 1998 from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Second video blog is a proposal of a potential new bus route for the MBTA that I made up. It would be a bus route 133 that would go from Malden Center to Anderson Woburn commuter rail station, and it would basically serve Melrose, Stoneham, and Woburn and stuff. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about Shane O'Mac. And more great video blogs coming your way in the coming days, weeks, months, and years. Keep calm, everybody. And I'm a Julie Bratton guy. And Molly Rosenblatt, a Fox 35 rocks and has nice legs. Amy Swenson from Wish 2 rocks, and she also has nice legs. And Elizabeth Hart of Local 6 rocks, and she also has nice legs. And in the words of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, WWE Hall of Famer, everybody has a price for the $1 Million Man. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.